really do. You're a 21-year-old punk fucking kid. Grandpa's given you everything all your fucking life. You've never had a car payment, a house payment. Everything you live in was given to you by Grandpa. You fucking don't know what it's like to work for a fucking living like I do, to bust my fucking ass and do what I do. And you know what, Shawn? You fucked me, and that's the way you got it. But you know what? Your grandpa's money will run out someday, and you'll have to feast for yourself. Get a fucking job, you piece of shit.
Welcome to Behind the Smoke. My name is Sean Walchef, and I am here with Derek Marso. We are live from Valley Farm Market, above the butcher shop. Brand new podcast studio, coming to you live from Valley Farm Market. How's it going tonight, Derek?
Man, it's going great. Everything's going good. This podcast room is shaping up nicely. We're pretty excited, and we're really excited about our guest tonight. But before that, Sean, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Talk to me a little bit about what happened with this catering job. We talked last week about you were going to go and do catering for the Los Angeles Chargers. How'd that turn out?
That is a great question. So we did something that we knew, number one, that we wanted to do. Number two, that would piss off a lot of people in San Diego. Before we went and did that catering, I sent out a tweet with with us, a photo of myself at Chargers Park catering earlier this season with Hunter Henry. And we just said that we were honored to bring our slow smoke meat to Chargers Park once again. Draft War Room, day 2. Lucky to have a great relationship with John Spanos. I played. So
he reached out to you again?
John Spanos' team reached out to us. Apparently, they liked it enough to bring us back for the third time. 3 times. I think we're doing something right. We made a decision that, like I said, we knew would anger the disgruntled fan base here in San Diego. We worked, as you know, for the last 2 years as a part of the Save Our Bolts movement to keep the team here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We allocated resources from the restaurant, time. We had managers sign up to try to get people to pass a Measure C, and we really did everything that we could. And because we did that, because of that adversity, we had a lot of doors open up for us. And we met some amazing fan groups. The Bolt Pride, we got to meet Alvarez, we got to meet Johnny, we got to go on Scott and BR. Actually, once I sent out that tweet, Scott Kaplan sent me right back because he wanted to know, how the fuck is it possible for you to go, for somebody that's dedicated so much time, so much effort, so much money to the Chargers, and they turned their back on San Diego? How is it possible for you to go and cater for them?
And what'd you tell him?
And I tweeted back, I said, from the San Diego Love Letter Challenge to Save Our Bolts to Vote Yes on C, we've always loved our Chargers, and we always will love our Chargers. That's something that you know me well enough to know that the way that we run our sports bar, we've always been kind of on the fringe as a San Diego sports bar, Charger bar. Anywhere you go in Pacific Beach, you can get just about every other NFL team. Nothing's kind of changed. And, the funny thing is how people react. And it's such a reaction that you don't expect until you see it.
The reaction from your customers?
From customers, from people listening to Scott and BR, from people on Twitter.
Really?
We have a nice gentleman here by the name of George. He goes by @DamienGM1974. Fuck LA Chargers. Fuck Cali Comfort. Traders, go to LA with them.
Wow.
I think I tweeted back a smiley face emoji. Wow. We had Edward @EdDog34. Nope. Unfollow. Support traders. I don't support you. And this guy was one of
These
my
are all
favorites.
People that are just coming at you for doing a catering for the LA Chargers.
Correct.
Jeez.
This one's fuck the LA Dolts @TX Bolts fan. Dude is still a Dolt fan. Hope he goes out of business. Will never again disgrace my family with their garbage food.
Whoa. I hope you go out of business? Get the fuck out of here.
Apparently, he wants 86 people to no longer have work in Spring Valley.
That's how many followers he has?
He has 23. That 86 would be a lot for him. He has 23 followers. So not only does he have 23 followers, he also uses an anonymous name and hides behind his keyboard. But
we like those keyboard warriors.
The best thing is that we do what we love to do, and it really doesn't matter what anyone says. I mean, we had 2 people right when I went on Scott BR call the restaurant and tell the host, "Fuck you guys. We're not going to follow you. You guys are following the Chargers. We'll never eat at your restaurant again."
Wow.
So, I mean, it's. I don't blame the fan base. I don't blame anybody. Every fan is free to make their own decision, but to have fans in San Diego attacking other fans it's just something that you wish you didn't have to see.
Well, it's just a ton of negativity, right? I mean,
we've never been about negativity. No, you know that.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what we're 100% against. We try to uplift and move forward, and obviously these people don't think the same way. And you know what's great? Is that it's fucking fine. Don't like it. It's fine. Cali Comfort's still going to continue to do what Cali Comfort does.
That's absolutely right.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's as much as you hate us, you and your 24 followers are not going to really do too much. But hey, free world. Say what you want to say. We're here for the long haul, and just so you know, Valley Farm supports you. So.
Derek, I appreciate that, and Derek's always supported me, even though he might have a different opinion than I do. And either way, we're moving forward, and we're never going to burn a business.
Still fucking hilarious.
Isn't it pretty funny? Isn't it funny how people think? But they know where to find us. They know we're not hiding behind an anonymous name. If they want to call a Spring Valley restaurant a sellout, then I see the irony in that. Maybe they don't, but you know what? It's all good.
Right.
We have people like Jeff Dotseth, who has his own podcast with Dave and Jeff, and he went out there on his podcast and basically told people to go fuck off, leave Cali Comfort alone.
I like
Those are our guys.
I like it.
And you know what? There are good people out there, and the restaurant was packed when we left, and we're lucky to be here bringing our guest on. There would be no Cali Comfort BBQ without Mr. Gene Goycochea. Gene,
my man.
Gene and I met way back in the day now. It's coming up. We opened the restaurant in 2008, so we met in 2009. Is that correct?
Yes.
Shawn, how did you guys meet? Or Gene, you guys can both pitch in. I mean, how'd the relationship form?
Well, I was retired, and I got a phone call from Shawn, and he had talked to KCBS and I guess some other people, and they referred him to myself on getting information to run a charity barbecue competition. Shawn, out of the goodness of his heart, wanted to go out and raise some money, and you were a part of that.
Yep.
Wanted to raise money for uniforms and for the ability of young children, lower income, to play sports in the local area. And when he called me, I said, I just live in Bonita, 5 miles away. I'll come out and meet you. He says, no, you just give me a little bit of info over the phone. I said, no, I'll come out and meet you. So we met, kind of hit it off right off the bat. I liked his attitude. He was very young and ambitious and wanted some good things to happen. And I wanted to be a part of that.
Maybe saw a little bit of you when you were younger than him, huh?
Absolutely. And, just right off the bat, I just knew he was a person you could trust. So I said, I'll come to your meetings and answer any questions, give you any advice I have, because I've run a lot of contests.
And that's saying it lightly. A lot of contests. I think I've run a lot of contests.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I don't know if I'm at 1% of what Gene's at.
But so we went to all these different meetings, and he kind of introduced me to the barbecue that they had at his breakfast restaurant, some ribs, and then we talked about barbecue. And by the end of this experience and running the event, Shawn says, I'm going to change my restaurant into a barbecue restaurant.
What a fucking idiot.
What a fucking idiot is right.
So you were on board with that? You thought you would help him out, this young, naive kid? And
Well, I was actually kind of the crazy one because I said, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah,
I said, are you
Gene
sure
kept holding
you want
the
to,
reins back.
like, cut off what you've got now? And he says, that's what I'm going to do. I'm thinking maybe a gradual thing. He says, no, I want to do barbecue.
Oh,
So he-
Shawn. That's Shawn.
Yeah, he just went right into it. We started like training employees and brought over some equipment, some slicers, some large cookers.
So what was the thing that actually changed the restaurant? It was your competition, Ole Hickory Pit, which we delivered on a flatbed truck right to the front patio of the restaurant.
I just saw pictures of that last week, I think.
Yeah, we had the blue building.
Yep.
Yeah,
So beautiful.
beautiful
so-
Charger blue.
Beautiful blue.
Yeah, we've made better decisions since then, but
At any rate, Shawn got right on it. We started ordering the appropriate foods, started training some staff, kind of ran a breakfast in the morning, barbecue in the afternoon.
well, let's be serious, Gene. What the fuck was the problem? The problem with barbecue and turning into a barbecue restaurant is the low and slow process, correct?
Absolutely.
So it's about having consistency, and it's about fabricating every single rack the same way every time, rubbing it the same way, making sure that all those processes and procedures, because you're cooking to feel, right?
That's correct.
You're cooked to feel, and what do I always tell you? I can't tell my fucking team, hey, just
Yeah.
go feel the meat.
Yeah.
And I can trust them to feel it the same way Gene's going to feel the meat.
Well, a lot of thermometers are used now. A lot of thermometers. Consistency is there. Very well run restaurant. Has a great staff. The people in the back of the house do a phenomenal job. The prep people, the line people, they work in a very small, confined area and manage to make it all happen. And it's very consistent. And people come back because of that consistency.
So after you tell us about how you got into barbecue.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like, what got you into doing all this? Because we all know how prominent you were in the KCBS. What made Gene get in?
So
to barbecue?
you're a KCBS. You were a KCBS board member.
That's
You're
correct.
a master judge.
Yes.
You're an organizer.
Yes.
What else?
I'm a rep. I teach the CBJ classes. I was a competitor for many, many years. Loved it. I kind of got my start in barbecue in that some of our businesses, we had a sand and gravel plant. The equipment comes from back in the South, right around Memphis, Tennessee. So if I would go back and get equipment, I would be eating real good barbecue. And then going with a tractor trailer back through Texas, experience some more pretty decent barbecue. Then I'd get back to California and there was nothing. Zero. We're talking 30 years ago. There was no barbecue that was worth eating.
Just, were they even trying to tri-tip back then?
No,
No. Wow.
we did nothing here. It was terrible.
Just old grill stuff?
Yeah.
Grill a steak?
So I decided to buy my own smoker, and we didn't have Home Depot around. So I went to an Ace Hardware and bought what I thought was going to be a decent smoker. Turns out it was a piece of garbage made out of sheet metal, and it would warp and allow more air in because it would end up with these big gaps on the door. So you had no fire control. So the food was terrible. I hated it. I was making something I hated. I'm a picky person, but it was just plain
Undercooked,
bad.
overcooked, a little bit of both.
Usually both.
Usually both.
So I would go back, and another one of our businesses was a towing company, and I'd go back to Olive Branch, Mississippi. So I'm picking up a new truck there with some extra bodies, wrecker bodies on it, and going back. I stopped at the restaurant I always stopped at in Texas called Fort Wood. in Sweetwater, Texas. And the guys at the restaurant there, I said, you know what? You guys have really good food. My food sucks. What am I doing wrong? So we talked for a little bit. He says, you know what you need to do? You need to go to a barbecue competition. I'm like, a what? I didn't even know what he was talking about. Didn't know they existed. So he says, yeah, we've got a barbecue competition coming up this Friday and Saturday. Well, this is Wednesday. And I'm in the far end of Texas.
And you still got to drive back to San Diego?
Still have to drive back to San Diego. And I have equipment that needs to cross the border into Mexico and a wrecker that needs to be put to work. So I go out and get multiple logbooks, broke a few laws, drove straight through, dropped off the truck, said somebody needs to take me to the airport. They're like, you just got back. I said, no, I need to go to the airport.
So you flew right then, right to Texas?
Right then. Did not go get clean clothes at home. Took dirty clothes in a suitcase and washed them when I got back to Texas.
Wow. Somebody had the barbecue bug.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. That happens.
It does.
It happens when somebody's talking to you and they tell you something and all of a sudden you end up being like I did, where I was asking you for barbecue advice and you said I'm going to be at a contest, and I moved heaven and earth to make sure that no matter what, I got to that contest so that I could find out what Gene was doing. And sure enough, there was Gene, rock star as he is, running the entire Harrah's Rincon barbecue contest, which was pretty impressive, to say the least.
So, Gene, when you got to Texas, talk to me about the experience. Because I know my first experience going to a KCBS event, I was personally blown away. What was your experience 40 years ago, 30
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I meet up with these guys. They say, yeah, it's about 10 miles away. Just follow us over. You can park your car there, hang out with our team over the weekend. We'll show you what we do. You can help out a little bit. We'll all just hang out and have a good time. So we did that. This is actually put on by the JCs, and it was a Rattlesnake Roundup. This is where crazy people go out there.
Really went after rattlesnakes?
Really?
See, I just can't do that shit.
It's not me.
I mean, I'm good with snakes. I personally love snakes, but to grab a fucking rattlesnake?
Yeah, I'm more of a city boy.
out.
That's
Sorry.
not happening for me. Not a chance.
Well, these people, you actually go out on a bus with them, and they go out and they take you to all these holes in the ground. And the reason they're doing this is because all the cattle get bit and die. So they go out and round up thousands and thousands and thousands of rattlesnakes.
Fuck that.
They throw them in this big circle in like the gym, and some other nutcase jumps in that circle with like 300 rattlesnakes, and they're crawling around his foot.
Wow.
I mean, this guy's stupid.
I'd imagine they, get the venom out of them too, right?
Well, that's what they were there for.
Right.
They would gather them up, and they'd pull all the venom out of them for medical, and then they would kill them. They would cook the rattlesnake meat.
Ain't bad meat.
Were they smoking this meat?
Bad. They were grilling it, and they were frying it.
This wasn't part of the contest, am I correct?
Not part of the contest.
No.
It wasn't one of
This
the
was
This was just
whole-
bonus. This was like an add-on to the
Yeah,
contest.
absolutely.
dessert and rattlesnake.
Should we add that to the Del Mar contest?
Hey, I don't want to be there.
I don't think it's going to go over too well.
No,
What do you think?
no.
No, sea urchin.
Rattlesnakes and racehorses?
Fuck.
No, that doesn't go too well.
So they make they take all the skins, and they make boots and belts and you name it. Then they even make something with the heads of them.
So what did this barbecue? You said the barbecue restaurant. They were actually competing in this contest.
They were. There was a chili contest and a barbecue contest. Well, I learned so much by watching these guys and seeing the pits around. The pits around were all made out of high quality, heavy steel. And what I had was made out of sheet metal. I didn't know any better.
So they had a thick gauge,
Yeah, absolutely.
nice smoker,
So no warpage.
right?
And the temperature stayed consistent.
Okay.
So I said, I know what I'm doing when I get back.
Buying a fucking new smoker.
Yeah, I'm calling up the same brand name that they all had.
Okay.
I was going to have one of those.
You got one of those.
I did.
Wow.
It was called Closed Barbecue Pits out of Houston, Texas. So I called David Close, the owner, and I said, look, I want one of your pits. Can you send one out tomorrow? How much do I owe you? He says, well, it doesn't work that way. He says, we have a 6 to 12 week waiting list.
Wow.
I said, but I want one right now.
Yeah.
He says, it doesn't really matter what you want right now. He says, did you hear me? It's a 6 to 12 week waiting list. And you'll be on the end of that. And I'm like, well, okay. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So we narrowed it down to what I wanted. And I gave him a credit card and said, I'll take it.
What did your first smoker like that cost you?
$1,500.
Okay. Because I know, smokers now can range anywhere from $100 to,
Millions.
yeah. Are they millions?
Yeah. He makes some that are millions.
Wow.
Like airplanes. Like,
Jesus.
look like real airplanes for airlines. He's got the coolest pits. He helped build the largest pit ever in the world. We actually used it here in California. It had to have 4 California Highway Patrol cars escort it from the Arizona border.
How many square feet is something like that?
Oh, geez. It's probably an 80-foot long pit. And probably
Who uses something like
8
that?
foot in diameter. Well, we used it. We were doing one of the feeds to the troops deals we used to do out of 29 Palms.
Nice.
And they came out to help us cook this food.
How many troops did you guys feed?
40,000.
40,000?
Yes.
That's a small catering, little side catering deal.
Yeah.
40,000, that's impressive.
I know.
Very
I
impressive.
almost shit my pants when I did my first meeting. It was like 200 people.
200
How the
people.
fuck
yeah,
am I going to do this?
exactly. 200 angry golfers for us.
Yeah.
Well, I probably fed 10,000 out of my trailer
Wow.
that I had there.
And that was a lunch?
That was a lunch. So we
Pulled
provided
pork?
the food. I was doing pulled pork and brisket. We had a full array of food.
Mm-hmm.
When we do those events, we'll have brisket, we'll have pork, we'll have ribs, we'll have 3 or 4 types of sausage. We'll also do hamburgers and hot dogs for the little kids, because their whole families are there. We even got the company, the Edwards Pie, to donate a semi-load of pie
Wow.
for desserts.
That's cool.
Then they have their Marine, I don't know, like MCAS. It's a group that makes money during the year and puts on little events for the Marines. And they would come out there and feed them all the drinks, because it's like 120 degrees there.
How many people did you have working with you?
We probably had 60 doing the
60?
line,
Good.
just the serving line.
Good. That's a number I like to hear.
And then
I didn't want to hear 1 or 2.
there were probably 10 of us cooking.
10?
Probably 10.
Wow. I mean, feeding 2,000 veterans at the track at Del Mar, we had a good crew from Cali of about 8, and you probably had Valley Farm had another 8 as well. Isn't that right, Derek?
Yeah, and we
were full tilt. You and I sweating, moving, hustling, whatever we could do to make sure
a lot to improve on. We got it done.
We did.
I would definitely like to have 60.
Well, a lot of these were young guys. They were called Young Marines.
Uh-huh.
And it's like being the Boy Scouts, but it's all about being Marines.
Cool.
So they were doing a lot of the food line.
Nice.
So, Gene,
and restocking.
with that pit that you got,
Yes.
was that the first pit you had that you competed with?
Actually, the one that I ordered, I didn't end up with. David Close calls me a couple days later and says somebody backed out of their pit. It's a little bit bigger, but I can send it to you today and get it on its way. It'll be there in 5 days. I'm thinking 5 days or 12 weeks.
I'll take 5 days.
There was nothing to think about.
Yeah.
How much more was that? Do you want a check or a credit card?
Yeah.
So he says, yeah, I can just take a credit card. So I gave him a credit card. I received it. And then my first cook, everything came out so much better. I was so happy. First, I was thinking it was all me that was messing this up.
It was a stick burner?
It was a stick burner.
Yeah. What kind of wood were you using?
At that time, I was using hickory.
Okay.
But it's another thing. The thing about wood is the smaller the pit, the less wood that you can use, because it's very harsh. The oxygen mixture is wrong. So if you've got a very large pit, you could burn a harsh wood like hickory. If you've got a small pit, you could add little chunks of hickory or more like pecan, and just to enhance the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And use charcoal that's kind of neutral for your heat source.
So what turned you on to Ole Hickory pits? When did you get your first pit? I guess Cali pit one.
For Ole Hickory? God, I probably didn't buy that till 2002, I think.
And that was your competitive team out of this world?
Yes. Well, I was using closed pits also with that team.
Okay.
But when I made the change was when I built that very large, enormous 50-foot trailer that was hauled with semis. And the Ole Hickories were built into it.
What kind of space did you need for that?
The trailer?
Yeah.
I needed to be 90 foot long because with a road tractor and the 50-plus foot trailer, that's how long I was.
So what, did you just buy 3 team spaces or what?
You know what? Most events wanted something cool like that there.
Yeah.
So they didn't make you pay anything extra. They just wanted you there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the first event that I took it to, I told them I needed 100 feet. And I got there, and they had saved me 20 feet. 20. I said, I couldn't put a car in that spot. What are you guys thinking? And that was in New Mexico. So I'd driven from San Diego straight out to New Mexico and had no place to park.
I mean, it's intimidating to go to a KCBS, Kansas City Barbecue Society, sanctioned event for the first time and realize that you're going to run into somebody like Gene that's bringing a semi-trailer. I mean, when we went up to Smoking in the Park up in Viejas, and it was our first contest, you know, Tommy was my pit master, my brother. He was cooking our barbecue. You know, Lou Bush, who was a former Charger, he had opened up a barbecue restaurant in central San Diego just about the same time we opened up Cali Comfort. Thomas, you know, he was working on his ribs. He was doing a kick-ass job. You know, I was so proud of him. We enter this contest, and we go up there, you know, confident, even though we had no reason to be confident. I mean, right when I started going through all the KCBS rules and regulations, all the things that we had to do for turn-ins, I realized how serious this professional barbecue really is. And then once we get up there and we realize, you know, we have a ranch kettle and, you know, just a barrel smoker, and we're looking at literally trailers and semis and rigs that are $500,000, $1 million rigs, and they're out there competing, you know, for these prizes.
It's what they do.
It's what they do.
They travel and they go fucking cook good Q.
I mean, you don't need it to start, but you need to have somebody kind of help you along the way.
Right. You definitely don't need it. I mean, you look at Rhythm and Q, they pack all their stuff into a van and do an absolutely fucking phenomenal job.
Yeah, but they can't take all their prizes is the problem.
Right.
They need a separate U-Haul.
When
just
they
to
won
take all their
Del
prizes
Mar,
back.
they had to ask for some assistance.
Yeah.
But
And I
no,
was
it's
gonna
definitely
say-
intimidating.
Yeah, I was going to say that is, doesn't matter what you bring to cook with. It's the cook and not the cooker. It's the meat, the seasoning, knowing when and how long to cook that meat to get it done on time to be turned into the contest. Having the right flavor, the right tenderness, having it be hot when it arrives at the judges, and being able to dress the box up to where your meat looks nice. That's what's most important.
That's most important, but you still need a semi-decent cooker. You can't just go pull off one of the first one you had that was warping and, you know, all the air was getting in and you couldn't keep a temperature. I mean, that's important. So, you know, you want to have some type of cooker that's halfway decent.
Well, it's not only that, but you have to know how to cook for volume. You know, if you're a team that's competing just to compete and you're not participating in People's Choice, then, you know, it's easier to cook smaller amounts of barbecue and cook just for that competition.
I would imagine, Gene, you cook the shit out of stuff for People's Choice.
I actually started People's Choice here. We started that started in San Diego.
Is that right?
Actually started in Imperial Beach.
Awesome.
The first contest that had it was in like 1998 or 99, and it was called Surf and Turf.
That was you?
That was me.
So
I ran that.
You organized that contest?
I did.
Awesome.
And we did People's Choice, but I also ran one of my close barbecue pits that would hold, it weighed over 10,000 pounds. It was a four-axle trailer, and it had a very large grill on it and a smoker that was about 30, 35 foot long and a slide-out fajita grill just an awesome cooker. And I cooked enough pork to feed thousands and thousands of people. Now, the owner of this, by this time, I'd bought a lot of close pits. And he was out at my house hanging out. And he says, that'll only feed 650 people. I said, no, I'm going to feed thousands. He says, but it only feeds 650 people. I said, no, you're wrong. It feeds thousands. So he saw me throw in cases and cases and cases and cases and cases of pork. He couldn't believe it all fit in there. He couldn't believe it all got done. And he couldn't believe that we sold every bit of it.
So why did the idea of People's Choice even come about?
Well, because why would people go to a barbecue contest? They can go there and see pits for 5 minutes and they're like, okay, whatever. But if they can eat that same food that the judges are getting, now they're happy. They feel like they're involved in the contest. They get to judge the contest with their extra ticket. So they can say, that was my favorite, put a ticket in their box, and that person could potentially win the People's Choice category.
Yeah,
and at that point, they're now the judge.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest difficulties that we have as organizers is figuring out ways to incentivize teams to participate in People's Choice, because
it's fucking hard. That's why. I mean,
it's really hard.
Yeah, you want to make great queue, then you got to worry about all that.
You've got a championship on the line. You know, these teams are competing. They're collecting points at all these different events throughout the year, and they're going for, the grand prize. Is that right?
Absolutely. And if the event can put on some extra people and say, hey, we've got somebody to serve your leftovers, that goes a long way with some teams. Some teams can bring family members and they can vend it out. Most people don't want somebody they don't know in their site dealing with their food, though. So it's hard to get some of these teams interested in being involved in that.
When you did People's Choice, were you passing out ribs, brisket, pulled pork, everything, chicken?
Well, we would have the teams turn in everything they had left over. You figure if you go to contest, I know when I competed, I would bring usually 16 racks of ribs, typically 20 pork butts, typically 20 briskets. So I could put out tons and tons of food,
right.
Lots of leftovers, and I would sell whatever was left. When I was running a contest, I would make, thousands of pounds of meat, and we'd make up combo plates. It'd be a pulled pork sandwich, beans and potato salad, or a tri-tip sandwich, beans and potato salad, or maybe even a coleslaw in there somewhere. So they're buying regular plates, and then they could buy the individual meats from the teams. Gotcha. So it was a great family outing. We'd have live music. They could sit there and listen to Beach Boys music while eating a sandwich and just relaxing in the summer on the beach. This event took place on the beach.
In San Diego. Beautiful weather, beautiful women, walking around, eating great queue, and that's pretty much how People's Choice got started.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. I didn't even know that. Learned something new today, boys.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for that, because that's actually...
That's why we're in Del Mar.
Yeah, that's well, yeah.
It's one of the reasons for sure.
I mean, Gene, for sure. It's really cool. So you started doing all your events and got done. Then started helping out Cali Comfort. And what are you doing at Cali Comfort now?
Not a lot, no.
We're trying to not make him do too much. Try to make Gene kick back and just be a supervisory role, but sometimes he's got to get his hands dirty, and he loves getting his hands dirty.
Actually had to do that today. We were short-staffed in the prep, so I had to go out and get some lettuce and start shredding lettuce and slicing tomatoes and slicing mushrooms and making sure we would be ready for tomorrow, a very busy day.
Man, talk about busy. Shawn, we were talking about this earlier today. I mean, it's great, but man, I mean, you guys are really putting on some events. Talk about some of the events you're putting on, or not events, but some of the things that are going down at Cali Comfort this weekend.
Well, I mean, we've just been very fortunate, 9 years in business, and, to have such a great opportunity to put our barbecue down at Valley View Casino Center and to have a stand down there in a partnership with, Ernie Hahn, who runs Valley View Casino Center, and Levy, Joey does an amazing job taking care of our booth, making sure the quality is what we want it to be. And, the San Diego Gulls, having an AHL hockey
How
team.
scared were you?
Terrified.
I mean, I can't even imagine. I know how I get just when I do caterings, and if I can't be there and look at and see what food's going out, I get
terrified.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely
the anxiety
terrified.
goes through the roof. So when you give them their food, and people that are serving it aren't familiar with barbecue, they're serving your food. That's testament to them over there that they're doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had to have complete trust in their team and their ability to, take Gene's training. We went down there multiple times and showed them the proper way to plate things, what we were doing, why we were doing it. But at the end of the day, no one's going to be our team, which is one of the things why we make our catering staff go through our restaurant training program so that they understand every single thing that we do in the restaurant, so that they're that much more of a valuable asset when they go off site. For us, it's so hard to not be a control freak. I mean, you know me, my wife, everything we do, we want to be hands-on as possible.
Right.
But in order to grow, in order to go and sell food at, the playoff Gulls game, and then also cater for the Chargers, and then also run the restaurant, we have to have a team.
Fight night, boxing matches.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
and having enough. And now you guys have added another pit, and I heard a rumor you're looking for number 3.
Another pit. Yeah. We're looking for a trailer, actually. We're looking to do things a little bit more efficiently on the event side, so that, when we go out and do events and participate, that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We kind of can have a mobile spot that'll help us put our product out and not have to do as much setup and breakdown.
Gene, how often at Cali Comfort are you guys running your pits?
They run almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We do take them down typically for 4 hours at a time for a cleaning, where we take every component out and scrub it, clean it all up. Just make sure it's like new inside.
Oil it back up?
Yep. Get it all greased up, serviced, and ready to start again.
So, Gene, we need to really, go behind the smoke and really focus on some of the horror stories, some of those barbecue war stories that we had to go through, those growing pains. Can you tell us a little bit about how our turkey fiasco, our Thanksgiving fiasco, how that happened, and what ultimately ended up happening?
Wait, what do you mean? You guys are trying to cook turkeys?
So we were always open 365. When we started Cali Comfort 2008, we had 18 employees, and probably about 3 years into running the restaurant, about maybe 3 or 4 years into running the restaurant, we started having significant amount of staff, where we're almost at 50 people. And it was much easier for us to close on Thanksgiving and to close on Christmas.
Oh, we're talking about Thanksgiving.
Oh, we're talking turkey time.
Oh, God.
Oh, we're talking turkey time.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Yes.
What happened?
So Thanksgiving, turkey time. So we decided, as we grew, that it would be a better idea to close on Thanksgiving, close on Christmas. Of course, me being who I am and, talking to Gene, well, we're closed. That doesn't mean that we can't be open for business, right? Well, why can't we smoke turkeys? Great idea. We have a pit that's not being used. Let's smoke turkeys. Let's sell Thanksgiving meals, right?
Absolutely.
So what did we do?
Well, we bought a lot of turkeys, and the problem was that was the first year they ever really, really, really had a shortage of turkeys. So all the turkeys that we got came frozen, the fresh turkeys that we ordered. So, right before it was cooking time.
Oh, you got them that day, and then...
Yeah.
Well, we pre-ordered the turkeys,
Yes,
but there was a huge turkey shortage.
So you guys got
So we
all
ended
frozen.
up getting frozen turkeys.
You had to try to slack them out.
Correct.
Oh, that's exciting.
So not only did we have to thaw them out, but we also had to brine them, because that's the only way you're going to get a great turkey for your customers. And this was turkey with all the sides. Everything.
It was a Thanksgiving feast. It was a feast to feed 8 to 10 people. You got all the fixins. What a stupid idea that was.
Oh,
What a stupid idea. Not only was it just because we could have just done just the bird.
How long
Make
ago was
life
this?
easy, just the bird.
How long ago was this?
It seems like 20 years ago. I mean, I've got like dog years on me. It had to have been 5 years ago. About
least.
5 years ago. I think we did it twice. We did it one
Wasn't
year,
telling me,
and then
you should
we
have
actually
fucking called me, dude. I had
I
the
should
same
have.
shit happen.
I should have.
There's no chance I'm doing turkey.
It's crazy talk.
Oh my God.
No, not only did we do turkeys and a full Thanksgiving meal, but we allowed people to modify their meal. Don't you ever do that. Modify your meal. Oh, well, I want to add on, a couple racks of ribs. We're like, oh, that's no problem. We ended up selling so many packages that we had, 110 birds?
I don't know. We had a lot of birds.
We had so many birds that they wouldn't fit on one of our Ole Hickory pits. So many birds that they didn't fit on that pit, so we had to use both pits. I had 2 pickup times, 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. So probably, let's say, 60 people were coming at 11 a.m. to pick up their entire Thanksgiving, to have their meal already ready, take it home, watch their football, enjoy with their family. Guess what? It's 9 o'clock. I'm talking to Gene about where we're at. He said they're cooking. Temperature's low. We're trying to figure out what we need to do. There's really nothing you can do with low and slow barbecue.
You can't fucking turn up the heat.
No.
It's done.
No.
Wow.
Not only that, but we had
So-
a lot of birds that were done, and then every time
A lot of birds.
Somebody-
Get serious. There were like 5 birds that were done. There were 5. There were 55 angry villagers with pitchforks ready to hang me by a noose.
So they were there waiting at 11.
So they're there waiting at 11.
And
I have no turkeys except for maybe 5 ready to go.
the other ones are at like 100 degrees.
Yeah, like frozen birds. Like, Gene, how can we make this thing cook any faster? No, they're frozen.
Right.
You go out there and you go talk to those people and let them know you just ruined their Thanksgiving. Yeah. 55 people by the time we got done, that first wave, they didn't get their birds until like 1:30.
So you have a lot of experience with people being mad at you.
Oh, angry as hell. Angry as hell.
Tweeting at you.
Yeah, this guy's got nothing on those those turkey birds. If that person had Twitter back in the day, man, they would be straight fire. It would have been straight fire. I mean, we ruined Thanksgiving. Like, it had to have been 2 years before we stopped.
I had a lady
completely.
call me on a Thanksgiving when I'm at my house. For us here at the store,
We obviously weren't that close because we had similar stories.
Right,
We should have shared these barbecue stories together.
we sell turkeys, organic, free range, all natural turkeys here. And, we go through thousands of turkeys. Well, my bright idea was to obviously cook some turkeys as well. What I was going to do is I was going to smoke them, but I was only going to smoke them to 140. So I wasn't going to get them all the way up to temp to leave them a note and let them know that.
Leave them a note.
All they have to do is finish them in the oven. Well,
Just
needless
finish
to
them and
say,
just follow
Very
these
bad
follow
plan.
these instructions.
follow these instructions.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
bad plan.
Needless to say, I got a phone call after 3 sleepless nights leading up to Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, for
prepping,
sure.
doing everything.
Stressed out.
Finally at my house, beautiful dinners going on, phone calls, ladies cussing,
You cooked that dinner,
cussing
didn't
me
you?
out. Oh, absolutely.
Because you're that kind of an asshole.
Cussing me out, yelling at me, telling me how I've ruined her Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I asked her, did you read the directions? Did you heat it? She said no. I literally had to leave my Thanksgiving dinner, go down to the store, get one, put it in the oven, get it up to temp, drive it to Alpine,
Yes.
just to save her
Yes.
Thanksgiving, in the process ruining mine.
Yes.
And
I'm sure your wife was happy with you.
oh my god, yeah. I mean,
You weren't
never-
happy with yourself.
No, my dude, it
You're
was
still
just
alive.
it was just embarrassing.
It
Just
is.
completely embarrassing, and
Well,
it's like embarrassing that I thought that could even happen.
Well,
And embarrassing that I had to leave, that I couldn't be with my wife, that I couldn't
Yes.
be with my parents, and
well, you're a person that if you say you're going to do something, you want it to happen no matter what. And you failed on that promise. I failed on that promise to have those 60 Thanksgiving meals ready.
My cousin
at
was looking at me.
11
He's like, "Dude, who fucking cares? Let him be mad. I can't.
It's like, I fucking care. I'm trying to keep the store open.
Right. It's not in me.
Yeah.
I'll lose money. I will lose time. To make somebody else happy.
Absolutely.
That's really what my dad instilled in me, and it's to a fault. And it was to a fault that time.
I'm pretty sure.
Needless to say, gobble gobble,
gobble
never
gobble
again.
gobble.
Never
Well,
again.
the funniest part is.
Actually, next year you want to try it?
Oh yeah, let's both smoke some turkeys. The funniest part is that we still have customers to this day that tell us that was the best smoked turkey they've ever had.
Right.
I tell them, shut the fuck up.
Right?
You keep that shit. You keep that shit to yourself.
You yelp that shit.
We don't talk about that shit around here. But yeah, we've had some very, very interesting times. I guess one of the best things, though, if we go back to the smoker and the worst thing that can happen to a barbecue restaurant is for the smoker to go down. And the reason why Ole Hickory pits have been so kick-ass for us is just the customer service relationship that they have. I mean, Gene's called them, not many times, but they're so responsive to our needs as operators that they'll get right back in touch with you. Is that right, Gene?
Absolutely. They're right on it. The service manager, Kevin, I can call and leave a message after they're closed. He will call and say, "What's the problem? What do you need us to help you with?" Great service. So this last football season, my wife and we took Gene out to Kansas City to the barbecue mecca, and that was our idea, was to go out there and really have Gene show us.
Did you, by chance, get to go to Oklahoma Joe's? Because that's my shit.
I
lived in Kansas for 5 years.
Gene's been telling us about the gas station barbecue restaurant.
What's it, Sinclair?
Since I've known him.
Yeah.
Sinclair? Yeah.
Just
go there. Oh, it's a fucking gas station.
Oklahoma Joe's.
Yeah.
They have Ole Hickory pits there.
Yeah.
They have
Do
Ole
they
Hickory
really?
pits. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
18 of them.
Yeah, it was insane operation. Unbelievable.
Dude,
Unbelievable amount of barbecue.
Right now I'm getting chills.
Incredible
So good.
queue coming out of there. A gas station.
But it's not. Now it's Kansas City Joe's?
It's Kansas City Joe's. It's still the same though. We went. It was really. When you roll with Gene, you get special privileges, and
I'm sure.
Because we went with Gene, we got to do a tour of KCBS's brand new world headquarters with Carolyn Wells. So Kansas
She's
City
a sweetheart,
barbecue.
isn't she?
Oh, she is unbelievable, and her and Gene go way back, and she offered to come out to lunch with us. We took her out, and we went to Oklahoma Joe's, spent time there, had amazing kick-ass ribs. What'd you have, burn ends?
I had burn ends.
Yeah, the burn
Love
ends were
burn ends.
unreal. But yeah, so we got to spend that time with Carolyn Wells. She went to I guess probably one of their managers at the time, told them who we were, and asked if we can go back, and they took us back into the kitchen, got to see the Ole Hickory pits.
Isn't that a cool thing about
it's
barbecue?
unreal. So cool.
People just.
The amount of
Come
volume that fucking place was doing.
We only have 80 customers.
Mind-boggling.
No big deal. You guys come on in. We'll take care of you.
Mind-boggling.
It's so awesome.
You're talking about so many different pits, putting so many different cuts of meat on, different times. The prep list that those guys had, and the little things that you pick up along the way. They were using a dry erase marker on the outside of their Ole Hickory, marking the times that the stuff went in. I came back and I showed Eric. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here! I've been trying to look for something. I've been trying to look for something that we could use." And literally, something as easy as just writing down information for one pit crew to hand off to the next PM pit crew. Stuff like that was just unbelievable. We also got to go down to Cape Girardeau, where Ole Hickory manufactures their pits, and Luke Ray, who he is son-in-law of the founder. He actually got to hand show us around their old facility as well as their brand new facility that they're building.
It wasn't even open yet.
It wasn't even open yet.
Of course,
he spent a whole day out of his time.
You were Gene Goycochea.
We were with Elvis. We were with Barbecue Elvis.
Right. That's
it
awesome.
It was beyond impressive what Ole Hickory is doing down there in Cape Girardeau.
Well, that's how I got mine. Straight up, it's you guys.
We jumped you into the Ole Hickory.
You did.
We into that family.
Yeah, that's got my SSE going, and I've had multiple other smokers, and there's just nothing that's been able to come close. And
Yeah, they also recommended us to go to Pappy's in St. Louis on our way back to KC, and holy shit, I think that was the best rack of ribs I've ever had was in Pappy's. I mean, Gene was even happy. My wife was like through the roof. She couldn't believe how amazing that the rack of ribs were.
Spares
The sweet
or
potato
baby
ribs. They were baby backs. Yeah,
Yeah, they were baby backs.
yeah.
But this place,
how do they do them?
they actually have Ole Hickory pits.
Uh-huh.
But how many did they have? Like 25 of them?
They had like 20. It was unreal. They had pit. The entire restaurant was surrounded by pits.
All the way around.
Like
and then trailer mounted
trailers
units.
on the street,
Just
like
sitting on the street,
yeah, with pits
ready to
on. Like we don't need the parking, we need the pits.
Wow.
Yeah, very impressive.
So, and every time you go in there, they say, you come in afternoon, you're probably not getting any burnt ends. You're probably not getting this. You're probably not getting that. Thinking with 25 pits, how do you not have all this food?
Yeah,
They serve so much food, they can't keep up. And it's all awesome food.
And you loved it?
Their ribs were fantastic. Just simple, stupid corn and turkey. Turkey was amazing.
You know, that's what I want to look into next.
turkey's bomb.
Getting some,
Have you had the turkey at Grand Ole?
No.
Oh my
You
God,
need to go
Andy
there.
Harris
Yeah.
is not playing around. It is for real turkey.
I mean,
love some smoked turkey.
I don't want
and
to say
like,
this. I've never even fucking been there.
oh, you got to go. You
I
got to
just
go.
heard so many great things. I mean,
Well,
he's
Andy-
an East County boy too.
He's already. He said he's coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I'm
We're fired up to have
stoked
him.
about it.
Fired up to have
Let's go
him.
down. Let's go down next week.
Let's
or
get some
something.
turkey.
And he's
Get some-
expanding into the East County.
Is he?
Well, the problem is he's in a residential neighborhood, and you get those conflicts where people don't like smoke and they
Yeah.
don't like the smell, and they're going to cry. So he's just going to do his cooking out there and take it to both facilities, and where nobody cares,
There you go.
out in rural East County. And their turkey is amazing. I mean, you have to have it. We ate there 2 weeks ago.
So I think one of the best things is we got Gene, as accessible as Gene is. He is now on Twitter. Is that correct?
Dude.
Have you been tweeting, Gene?
Me and Gene
I've
have.
had
You guys
Twitter.
have been, you guys
We've
been tweeting with
we've
each
been-
other?
we've
I
been
probably had
tweeting
Twitter
without me?
before you
Tweet.
did.
We've been
Oh my
tweeting.
gosh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah. How many tweets you have?
not very many.
Gene's about the same as me. I mean, I'm pretty much
Well, if you want to tweet at
social
him, he's
media
Gene
illiterate.
Goycochea, and he's actually Gene Goycochea at Instagram. Derek, what are you at?
I am at Marso Derek
Marso Derek
for
on Twitter.
and Valley Farm Markets at Instagram and www.valleyfarmmarkets.com. And yeah, I mean, you can email me as well, Derek at valleyfarmmarkets.com. But yeah, I love helping, and if anyone's got any questions, I'm here.
Well, Gene spent his life giving back, and that's probably one of the best things about barbecue is the charity component. That
No, he's helped me be a better person. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Giving back and doing what we do. It's exciting. We're going on 8 years on our Spring Valley competition, and something that who would have thought year one that now we're just doing our 501c3 to give back to kids even more, and wouldn't be possible without a guy like Gene.
No, absolutely not. But that's the cool thing is that barbecue opens up a lot of different doors, and you never know where those doors are going to lead. And as long as you're willing to grind it out and put in the long hours, put in the work.
I mean, it's not really long hours, is it? Like
I don't
23
count
hours
them.
in a
I don't
day?
fucking count them. My wife counts them.
right?
She's like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm recording with Derek. No, you're not. No, you're not recording with Derek. I love my wife. She's an amazing person.
She is amazing. I love Rosie.
Yeah. She's just going to call it like she sees it, though. No filter. Cut the shit, Shawn.
No filter,
Stop
Rosie.
bullshitting. Well, if you do want to tweet at us, we're at Barbecue War Stories. That's pretty much where you'll find us on Facebook, also on Instagram. We want to know what kind of questions you have, who we should bring on the podcast. We are very fired up to have John Brackmonte from Brazen Barbecue on the podcast. He was a competitive barbecue team that was able to open up a barbecue restaurant that's thriving over in Hillcrest. He's still open today.
That's some good cue. I had that the other day.
They do an amazing job. Yeah, John does a kick-ass job, and he's always been willing to give back. He's participated in Spring Valley Tailgate and Barbecue Festival. He's helped us raise money for organizations and training, which helps at-risk youth here in San Diego. And he's just a kick-ass guy. He's been very dedicated to his craft and very dedicated to growing his business and keeping the doors open. It's hard to do 2017. It's hard to run any restaurant, any business. I don't care if it's one employee or two employees. Or
especially in California.
In California.
It's fucking... it's the hoops we have to jump through. But meeting people like, Coops and Brazen and talking to all them, I mean, creating a network, it makes it all worth it that we're all kind of going towards one cause, and that's just to kind of make barbecue in California known.
Absolutely.
And giving back.
Well, not only that, I mean, just today, all three of us, we got to meet, Chad Ward from Traeger Grills. He's
great guy,
director of marketing, and he's out here pounding the pavement, meeting with his reps, coming out, finding the end user, finding out who, who's doing what. And, companies like that are out touching product, touching people, being out in the customers. I mean, those are the companies that they get it.
And those are the companies we want to work with.
Absolutely.
We're really excited to have them, be a part of some of our competitions, and we look forward to it.
So if people want to sign up for Del Mar's KCBS contest, that they're going to go to arleyq.com. They can sign up there. arleyqevents.com. They can sign up. We only have spots for about 70 teams, which we expect are going to fill up pretty fast. If you go on Cali Comfort's Facebook page, you can check out the photos from last year. There's no sexier place, we think. I think we're a little biased here on the West Coast, but no sexier place than Del Mar in the summer. The Pacific Classic Championship horse racing will be on the Saturday, load-in day. So you're going to load in, then you're going to go bet on some ponies and have your cooks meeting, and
you're going to have some beer, some Q, pretty women, betting on horse races. Great music. We're going to have Jet West. Shout out to Jet West for giving us our jingle too, man.
Absolutely.
How cool is that? In the beginning of our podcast and in the close, it's guys like that, Darren Schneider.
And shout out to my former business partner for my workout mix that we threw into the intro.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
But Jet West will be there playing, and then who else are we going to have? We have
Tim Hurley Band. They might be he's confirming with us, hopefully. But we also have some local talent. AJ, I think if we can free him up, we're going to have him come out. But we're going to have a kick-ass time. I mean, we have Andy Harris, Grand Old's going to be out there selling barbecue. Brazen's going to be out there. Coops. We're going to bring as many barbecue restaurants as we can this year, so that people that come out.
Well, you want the public to try the best.
Absolutely.
So come on out.
Yeah, the best in San Diego. So that's what we're going to have. But other than that, if you want to tweet some Charger hate at me, I'm Sean P. Walchef. I welcome the thunder. I got a lot of friends on Twitter now, apparently, or might be blacklisted. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that goes. But we're fired up to have you, Gene. We appreciate everything that you do for the barbecue community. Everything you do is humble. I apologize for Derek and I shouting you out and putting you on podcasts and tweeting at you and putting you on blast, but everything that you do for Derek and myself, we can't thank you enough. We wouldn't be open today. When I went on Man Meat Barbecue, that podcast is available. Shout out to Mikey K. Check that out. But you saved our business. If we didn't turn California Comfort from a sports bar into a barbecue restaurant, I'm confident we wouldn't be open today. So here we are, 9 years later, and we're just getting this thing going. We're going to get better. Hopefully, maybe more than one person will listen to this podcast, and we'll give it a go next week.
Shoot for double digits.
Anything else, Corey? Mr. Wagner, our
shout
producer.
Out to Corey.
Shout out to Corey. He's got so many Instagram accounts that his phone doesn't work anymore. This guy's the master behind the scenes. Anything else? No, we're all good. We'll catch you guys all next week, and appreciate it. Barbecue War Stories. Check us out.